Last week we spoke about how the Buddha made his aspiration for the first time. When he made his aspiration with a past sitting Buddha, he officially became a Bodhisattva. As a Bodhisattva, his duty was to cultivate the 30 Paramitas to the maximum level in order to have the qualifications to become the Buddha. Every Buddha, all have to travel through this same path. They all have to develop their Paramitas to the maximum level. Once they reach that maximum level, they are now eligible to be born as a Buddha. Every Buddha will spend the last 10 lives before they become the Buddha, maximizing the last 10 levels. If we take, for example, the other monks that lived in the Buddha's time, they also had a very high level of Paramita. For example, Pasariputta was known to be one of the wisest, one of the greatest monks of all time. Yet for him, he cultivated over a period of 100,000 kapas, whereas the Buddha, his teacher, spent 4 asankhayas and another 100,000 kapas. These are time periods that are not even comparable to each other. Each one of the Buddha's main disciples mostly spent around 100,000 kapas cultivating their paramitas to the highest level that they possibly could, so that they can obtain a specialty of recognition in a certain aspect in the Buddha's dispensation of his religion. Our Buddha was known as a Samma Sambuddha, yet there are also other types of Buddha. A Samma Sambuddha is a Buddha that teaches, saves people, helps people achieve enlightenment. There is also another type of Buddha known as a Pancheka Buddha, which translates to a silent Buddha. A silent Buddha is a Buddha that achieves enlightenment by himself, but does not leave a religion, does not leave behind teachings, does not save anyone, does not help anyone achieve enlightenment. These Buddhas, these Pancheka Buddhas, need to cultivate less paramita than the full 30 levels. Now, we can even see that arahants, people that become enlightened, have different levels of abilities, different levels of power, different levels of people surrounding them, different levels of popularity and fame. What denotes who has more or who has less? Usually it comes down to the paramitas. The more paramitas you have, the more popularity, the more love, the more fame, the more renown that you will have, the more abilities. The less paramitas, the less abilities, the less renown, the less fame, the less love, the less surroundings of people and things. Let's compare it to something that is prevalent in our current day and age, which is video games. When playing video games, usually these games ask you to create a character. So we go and create a character. We give it a name, long hair, short hair, big shoulders, big muscles, long legs, tall, short, overweight, underweight, whatever we want. But when we start the game, as in most games, we're pretty weak. We don't have the stats. Our strength is low, our vitality is low, our speed is low, our charisma is low, our intelligence is low, our mana is low, our magic is low. Just overall very low. So what do? Well, we gotta grind. We gotta fight. We gotta play. In a building game, you gotta start building small things. In a city building game, you gotta start collecting gold, cutting down trees, mining for ore and stone. In a fighting game, you gotta fight small little monsters, rabbits and squirrels. Well, wouldn't you rather be fighting the dragons? Of course. If a dragon just looks your way, you will fall over. Why? Because you have no health. You have no resistance. You have no energy. You have no strength. And so what must you do? You gotta train. You gotta improve. You gotta gain points. Every time you level up, you allot points into more strength, more vitality, more dexterity, more charisma. And as you have more points, you can fight bigger monsters. You can access bigger towns. You can build bigger armies. You can fight bigger monsters. You can get better rewards. As you get more rewards, you see the value of learning. What do? You keep building. You keep getting better and better until you reach that last level where you're maxed out on everything. Well, now you're ready to fight the big boss of the game and defeat the game. Much in the same way as how Paramitas work. Our Paramitas are our stats. And so the Buddha, his goal was to completely defeat the game and leave nothing unturned. He wanted to completely 100% complete the game. So for him, he needed to have all his stats maxed out. And he did. And once he maxed out his stats, he defeated the game. He defeated greed, desires, rebirth, and now he's free. And he taught us how to do it. Yet, for us to free ourselves from this game, we don't have to beat the final boss. Maybe we can fight a little bit. Maybe we can fight a medium level boss. Maybe we can get out of it somewhere else. We don't have to get to the full level. In some games, you defeat the game at level 70. But if you keep grinding all the way to level 100, that's your choice. So now, what are our paramitas? What are the stats that we need to develop so that we can become stronger and level up in life? The first paramita is known as dana. Dana translates roughly to giving or charity. What kind of things can be given? We can give items such as money, food, physical objects. We can give actions such as smiling, helping people carry things, helping old ladies across the street, picking things up, cleaning after yourself. We can give actions such as listening. We can give speech, such as kind words, encouraging words. We can give other things, such as time, opportunity. There is an endless list of things that you can give. But the important thing is, you have to give from yourself. If other people give, that's their dana. If you give, that's your dana. So you must first have it in order to give it. You must first be the owner of it in order to give it. Well, who can you give it to? Giving must have a giver and a recipient. You can be the recipient of your own gift. Other people can be the recipient of your gift, of your charity. Animals can be the recipients of your charity. Trees can be the recipients of your charity. Or even things, inanimate objects in this world can be the object of your charity. But what is the purpose of giving dana? Well, the purpose can be broken off into two parts, for yourself or for others. If you give for others, you're now creating good relationships. You're creating happiness in them, which will reflect back and give you happiness. You're creating goodwill in others, which will reflect back to you. And so in the end, by helping others, by giving to others, by giving charity to others, you're actually creating a better profile for yourself, but you're also creating goodwill that gets reflected back to you. Another purpose of giving is to reduce your attachment. The Buddha taught that attachment leads to suffering. Suffering leads to more evil actions, which will lead to more suffering. For example, let's say that you're very attached to your position in bed. You like the right side. It's what you're accustomed to. It's what you're used to. If you don't have it, you can't sleep. If someone else is sleeping on your side of the bed, it makes you angry. It makes you feel bad. Now, when you get angry and you get upset, you can't sleep. Your body feels pain. But not only that, now you're willing to criticize someone, have evil thoughts towards someone, yell at someone, physically attack someone, these are all actions that come from attachment. The more attachment that we have, the more suffering we have because of that attachment. The more suffering we have, the more lies, the more violence, the more denials, the more excuses we have to give because of those suffering. Another benefit of giving is to create a history of good actions that you can recall. If someone asks you, "Are you a good person?" Of course we'd like to say yes, but then they ask you, "Prove it. What have you done? Who have you helped? What evidence do you have that you're a good person?" You can't just ask them to look into your soul because they can't see it. So, what evidence do you have? People who give dana often, in many places, to many people, consistently, these people have a history of good actions. It's just like if we were to look at your social media profile, whether it be your Facebook, your Twitter, your Snapchat. If we asked you if you're a good person and you say yes, when we go through your post history, what will we see? Will we see a lot of kind words? Congratulations, that's awesome, I'm so happy for you. Here's some information, here's some help, here's a donation. Or will we hear a lot of like, you suck, you're bad, you deserved it, you're an idiot? What will we see when we look through your post history? You might tell us that you're a good person, but can you prove it? So dana is one way for you to pad your resume. The better your resume is, the more opportunity you have of achieving a job, achieving good rebirths, achieving heaven, achieving more happiness, achieving less suffering. It all comes down to your resume. We believe in karma. Whatever your actions are dictate your future. The things that you encounter now are dependent on your past actions. Therefore, for the wise individual, we will definitely like to have a better resume. The better our resume, the better our future. The better our future, the less suffering and the more happiness we will have. So in conclusion, what are the results of giving? The results that end up in us are we have less attachments, we have less suffering, and we are further on our path to achievement and to nibbana, which is total enlightenment. The result that we see in others is that we receive good responses from them, which makes us happier. We see smiles, we see happiness, we see contentment, we see them express trust for us, we see them want to help us, want to support us. It all in all creates a better life for us. The second paramita is the paramita of Sila, or morality. Another way of calling this is your moral compass. Now, no one being can truly know what is really good or ultimately bad. We're limited by our lack of knowledge and our lack of experience. Nobody knows all things. No one has a complete and perfect moral compass. It is our job to always update our files to see what is good and what is bad. We cannot just believe others. We have to use our own discernment and our own understanding. Therefore, our level of Sila is reliant upon our understanding of what is good and what is bad. The level of our Sila, if we were to equate it to points in a video game, is what determines our future path. Are we worthy of rewards in heaven? Do we deserve to be punished in hell? Will we have better rebirths, or will our rebirths be worse? Will we level up in terms of better opportunities, or will we have lesser opportunities? An easy way for us to calculate this is to see, when we first took this job, do we have more Sila points than when we started? If we did, then we will have a better opportunity in this work. If we have less Sila than when we started, then our path will travel towards a worse one. It is actually not too hard for us right now to determine whether or not at this very moment, if we were to die, Would we be going to heaven or would we be going to hell? What have we done more of? Have we done more things that we understood to be right? Or have we done more things that we understood to be wrong? The more things that we've done that we consider to be right, the more opportunity and time we will spend in heaven. The more things that we have done that we believe to be wrong, the more time that we will spend in hell. Which one populates our points? Where do most of our points come from? So an easy calculation for us to figure out our Sila points follows. Let's start with things that you consider to be right, correct, and worthy. If you think that it is right and you do that thing, let's say that you get +1 to your Sila points. If you think that it's right and you don't do it, let's say that you get -1 to your Sila points. On the flip side, if you think that something is wrong, evil, inappropriate, and you still do it, that's -1 Sila points. But if you think that it is wrong and you refrain from doing it, you do not do it, that's +1 Sila points. One example of things that we are taught that are right and wrong are the 5 precepts. We are taught that we should not kill. Killing is wrong. We are taught that stealing is wrong. We are taught that adultery, sexual misconduct, is wrong. We are taught that lying, harmful speech is wrong. We are taught that intoxication, drugs are wrong. Well, if this is what we believe, what side of the precepts are we on? Are we on the side that we do it? Or are we on the side that we don't do it? That will determine the points that we have, and the points that we have will determine where we end up. It's a very logical system. There are no gods, angels, or spirits that sit there deciding our fate. We decide our fate by our moral compass. If we want a better life, we need to increase the points we get from our moral compass. Do more things that you consider right. Do less things that you consider wrong. And if our life is turning into a bad direction, it's because we're doing more things that we think are wrong and less things that we think are right. For example, if you are drunk, if you are high, or if you have things that you know are against the law inside your car, when a cop pulls up beside you, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be worried. You're going to feel pressure. Is he going to catch us for drunk driving? Is he going to catch us for driving under the influence? Is he going to ask us about our ID, which I forgot at home? If you have things that you've done that are wrong in your point of view, you will have fear. But if you know that your registration is up to date, you have all your documents appropriately with you, you have not been drinking, you do not have a history of drugs, you do not have criminal history, when a cop pulls up next to you, you're sitting there wondering, I wonder what they want. I couldn't think for the life of me what I've done wrong. And you will not feel the pressure. You will feel calm. The third paramita is the paramita of Nekhamma. Nekhamma means renunciation or ordaining. What are we renouncing? Well, the answer is we're renouncing kama guna. Kama guna is sensual pleasures. Pleasures of the eyes, the nose, the ears, the taste, and texture. Well, why do we have to renounce these pleasures? The Buddha taught that pleasures lead to attachments. The more pleasures you have, the more you like it. The more you like it, the more you want it. The more you want it, the more debt you will incur. The more debt you incur, the more suffering you will do when they run out or when they're no longer available. And that is why it is important for us to practice restraint, practice renouncing the sensual pleasures that we have access to and the right to use. We have the right, yet we choose to refrain. This is where willpower comes in, and this is where we fight our addictions. Well, why should we do this? We do it to train ourselves to live without addictions. These pleasures are very addictive. Even though we have the choice that we can indulge, we choose not to. This trains our willpower. This trains our maturity. This trains our strength. This trains our desire to be free of addiction. If we are able to be free of this addiction, we will have the strength to fight other addictions. Addictions in general are bad for us. They lead to attachment, which leads to suffering, and leads to more actions to protect that attachment. 2 parts of renunciation or Nekhamma that are highlighted here are: do you feel comfortable being alone? Or are you the kind of person that needs companionship? Do you fear loneliness? Do you need comfort from other people? Are you afraid of confrontation and pressure? Do you need praise? Are you afraid of criticism? As long as we have an attachment to others, a reliance on others, what ends up happening is sometimes we get what we want and sometimes we don't. Sometimes they act the way we want, sometimes they don't. When they do, we feel happiness and we want more of it. But then when they don't, we feel disappointment and we're very upset. This is because we find our sustenance, our reliability from other people. We are not able to generate confidence in ourselves. We are not able to be alone with ourselves. We are not able to comfort ourselves. We are not able to praise and criticize ourselves. As long as we practice reliance on others, we will never truly be free. We will be slaves to others. And that is why those who practice Nekhamma will practice existing alone. They will separate themselves from other people. They will practice self-comfort. They will practice self-companionship. They will combat loneliness and fear. And eventually, hopefully, they will be free from the attachment to other people. Another big portion of Nekhamma is the renunciation of pleasure. A lot of people say that we live for pleasure, we live for love, we live for happiness. But what they forget to see is that all that love, all that pleasure, all that happiness comes at a cost. Even if everything turns out fine, the better it is, the moment when it's over, the more disappointment you feel. In order to have pleasure, you must pay a cost. In video game speak, this is called pay to play, pay to win. In order to play, you must work and earn a living to pay the cost of what you enjoy. Pleasures in this world are not free. They all have a cost. You want to rock climb, you want to swim, you want to hire prostitutes, you want to eat good foods. You have to spend money. You have to spend time. You got to spend physical effort. When able to earn that money, you have to have a job. You have to deal with employers. You have to deal with customers. You have to deal with employees and responsibility. Working, in general, is suffering. It's tiring, it's not fun, and it's never ending. Once you have earned your pleasure, now you have to protect it. Now you have to maintain it. Now you have to grow it. And all of that is tiring and equating to suffering. So with Nekhamma, you're striving to test yourself and push your limits every day to have more toughness, to have more restraint, to be able to be self-sufficient, to not live life for pleasures and to not live life through others. This is true freedom. The 4th Paramita is known as Panna, or the Paramita of wisdom, intelligence, discernment. A simple test to see if you're the kind of person that likes wisdom, likes Panna, or not. Are you more logical or more emotional? Are you more fact-based or more opinion-based? Are you reasonable or are you emotional? Do you have a love of learning or do you have a fear of learning? If someone says they want to explain something to you, they want to teach you something new, are you excited to learn it or are you afraid to learn it? Are you reluctant? Do you dislike science? Do you dislike mathematics? Do you dislike learning history? Do you dislike learning new languages? Do you dislike learning new things? If you do, then you have a fear of learning. And with that fear of learning is a lack of access to information. Information is power. Information leads to experience. Experience leads to perspective and opportunity. What kind of person are you? Are you a person who's open-minded or stubborn? People who don't like wisdom, don't cultivate wisdom, are usually stubborn. They're happy with what they know. They're confident in what they know, and they're not eager to learn or expand their horizons. Therefore, what they believe in must be right, and that leads to stubbornness. Open-minded people know that there's so much information out there, there's so much knowledge out there to be gained, that they don't know everything. There's a lot more to learn, and therefore they're not stubborn, they're open-minded. Are you stuck in your ways, or are you willing to change? Would you rather be right and win, or would you rather understand? Are you the kind of person that looks for examples? Are you the kind of person that compares? And when comparing, are you comparing for factors? You're comparing different aspects. You're comparing different sides. Are you a person that's discerning? Are you calculating? Are you contemplative? There are generally two types of wisdom. There's worldly panya and the Dhamma panya. Worldly panya consists of wisdom and knowledge regarding jobs and how to do them, regarding people, how to interact and how to live with people, how to earn a living, what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, and making a living. Dhamma wisdom, or Dhamma panya, refers to irrefutable truths, the truth of dying, the truth of change, the truth of deterioration, the truth of suffering. We also search for self-truths. Who am I? What kind of person am I? What do I believe? What do I need to fix? What do I need to change? What's good about me? What's bad about me? What needs to be better? How have I improved already? How must I improve more? What are the benefits of practicing panya? Well, the wiser you are, the more opportunity you have. The wiser you are, the more experience you have, the more perspective you have, the more understanding you have, the less emotional attachment you will have. The less that you rely on your emotions to dictate your actions, the less mistakes you'll make, the less times you have to say sorry, the less things you have to feel bad about. So through wisdom, that is how we achieve true freedom. Wisdom, knowledge, experience. This is vital to every step of our lives, every step of happiness, every step of freedom, all the way to being vital for achieving enlightenment. The fifth paramita is the paramita of Viriya, which means effort, continuity, or follow-through. What kind of person are you? Do you start things and see it through to completion? Do you finish what you start? Do you have continuation? Do you follow through? Do you give things maximum effort? Do you give up easily? Do you start something, get distracted, and go start a different project? Do you start something, feel that it's difficult, hit a roadblock, hit some difficulties, and then decide to stop? Do you power through it? Do you use that effort and that drive to get you through the hump, get you through the roadblock, get you through the obstacle? Or do you give up? People who have a high level of Viriya will have a complete portfolio, a complete resume, things that they can talk about, things that they can refer to, things that when they look back upon, they can feel confidence. People who have low level Viriya, people who have scattered ideas, easily distracted, people who don't have confidence, people that do not have a good resume, people that when they look back upon their lives, they feel ashamed or feel bad. Viriya ties directly into your self-worth and your self-confidence. The more projects that you have finished, the more confidence you have. The more experience you have, the more confidence you have. The more results you have, the more confidence you have. People who have a low level of Viriya have scattered unfinished projects, the less confidence you have. The more things that you failed at, the less confidence you have. The less projects that you have finished, the less confidence that you have. The more unfinished projects that you have, the less confidence that you have. Effort, continuity, and follow-through, Viriya, is vital to advance in life. Without effort, how can anything be achieved? Without effort, how can anything be finished? Without effort, how do you improve? Without effort, nothing can get done. Therefore, the more effort that you put forth, the more effort that you show, the more opportunity you have for advancement and achievement. The less advancement, the less things that are done, the less achievements, the more the suffering. The lower the confidence, the less the self-worth, the less the energy. The more the Viriya, the more effort, the more follow-through, the more continuity, the more things get done, the more achievements, the happier you are. Therefore, you're not doing this for other people. You're doing this for yourself.